You know, it's almost cliche at this point to talk about the 9 to 5 life, quitting your job and wanting to explore the world or just be free of that, just be independent. But for some people, myself included, that concept was something that I didn't even know existed. You know, something that I always had in mind, even as a young boy, you know, growing up in a very small city in southwest Nigeria. And if my teachers asked me at the time, or asked everyone in class what they wanted to become, I didn't have a response. It was like that topic just didn't resonate with me in any way. Even then, there was this need to satisfy our parents or a need to fit into the immediate community, the immediate environment, wanting to be like our friends or watching all of your friends, you know, go through different stages of life and finding their own paths. And I just never was able to find mine. And that led me to a big moment in my life where I had something really tragic happen. It was in the year 2007. I was getting ready to complete my high school education, and I'm one of 12 children from raised in a polygamous house, 4 wives, 11 siblings. And luckily I was really close with my dad. Grew up very close with him. In fact, this would sound funny, but I slept in my father's bed until I was, I believe, about 12 years old. No one could get me off his bed. We would sleep together in the same bed, and I would pee on his bed. And he never complained. So it got to a point where, you know, I grew older and he had to send me off into my brother's room to go, you know, find my own path. Growing up, me and my father, we were really close, and there wasn't anything going on in his life that I wasn't aware of. But in 2007, my dad was suffering from partial blindness, or we didn't know what it was at the time. But after several consultations with medical professionals, we realized that it was this medical condition called diabetic retinopathy. Of course, my dad was diabetic at the time. He had been his entire life. Brought about a series of health issues, and diabetic retinopathy was one of them, which is a medical diabetic condition that destroys, or that just messes up the back of your eye, the retina. That was happening. And my father, you know, his entire life for 36 years had worked in the bank, worked diligently, rose to the ranks, and retired as a very high-up executive. So this was something that he would always talk about. He was so proud of this. And during his time in the bank, of course, they pay you salaries, they take out different types of monies from your salary for health insurance, for retirement account, for pension, and all of these things. And my father was very reassured that he had a health insurance plan somewhere for 36 years. And when the time came when he needed his health insurance money, we called the company that managed those accounts. We called them day and night, and they wouldn't pick up the phone. We sent letters, we sent emails, we wrote to them severally. They wouldn't pick up the phone. At this point, my father was going blind day by day. And we reached out to the bank where my father had worked for 36 years. They wouldn't pick up the phone. It was sad, you know, watching my father lose his sight, just watching the person you love wither away, not being able to do some of the most important things, some of the most some of the most important things they cherished. My father loved to journal, he loved to write. And after a lot of back and forth, lawsuits, countersuit, we were able to get some money out for my father's surgery. The surgery went well, and after the surgery, we were hoping that his sight would get better. At least we spent all of this money. But unfortunately, it was too late. We had gotten the surgery late because we didn't have any money. And my father completely lost vision in his left eye, and the right eye got progressively worse, faster than anybody ever thought. You know, just sitting there watching my father put his hand on his left eye or on his right eye, trying to see through his left, or hoping that his sight would get better every single day. I would just sit there in a corner, just watch my dad do this over and over again. It was heartbreaking. And I thought to myself, if you had given your life to a corporation for 36 years and slaved your life away, and in your biggest time of need, you need them to stand up for you, to stick up for you, for something that would be life-changing, and they just never cared. What is the whole point? What is the whole point in giving your life or sacrificing your entire life for such a corporation, for those kind of people? And as a young person, as a young man going into, my 20s, that was a pivotal moment in my life, coupled with my uncertainty about wanting to go down a career path. And that just really shaped my life, or informed all of the decisions I went ahead to make in ways that even I can explain. And from that, or from those series of events, I just had this conviction in myself that I was never going to go down the same path that my father went through, that a lot of people are going through. That I was going to forge a path for myself, that I was going to create a life that isn't controlled by a man higher up, or a life that someone had any direct influence in how it goes or how it ends. Those series of events, from the surgery to the loss of sight, later brought about some, other health issues, and from, the heartbrokenness that my father must have felt, led to a series of other events. And my father, eventually passed away about 7 years ago. And I'm not saying his passing is directly tied to that event in 2007, but I just wonder how better his quality of life would have been in those last moments, or in those last months, and those last years of his life. I'm not saying this to wallow in self-pity. This is not what this is, but you just need to find that one thing. Maybe you're in that position right now where you're thinking about the same thing. You're afraid to go after whatever your dream is, or maybe you're not sure what path you want to go down. You're not confused. You're not wrong. In fact, you're right in every way to feel that way. As long as you have that conviction within yourself. And that's not to say that your alternative path is going to be any easier. Usually it's not. And I'm not sitting here telling you that, my life is all great right now. In fact, it's not. I've gone through the worst years of my life in the last couple of years trying to build something. And I've also learned so much, and I've become a better person. It's kept me on my toes every day. I wake up every day feeling energized, feeling motivated to build something, to provide for myself, to provide for those people around me. And maybe if I'd gone down the path of having a 9 to 5, maybe my life would be much easier. Maybe I would, wake up to a paycheck in my bank account every weekend or every Friday. Who knows, right? But having lived that life, I know what exactly is waiting for me in that life. I never want to go back. And I'm here every day chasing and wanting to build something for myself. And it's not easy. And I'm gonna remain out here chasing. I'm gonna remain here, building every single day and hoping that from my creative and business ventures, I can create that life that I always imagined. And like I said, it's not going to be any easy. So wish me luck. And if you're on that path right now, know this, you're not wrong. You're not confused. You're just doing what's right for you. And if you have any thoughts, leave them down below in the comments. And if this content has benefited you in any way, consider subscribing. I'm Daniel. I'll see you in the next one.